Welcome back to the National Hate Watching Association. After a 1 week hiatus, because allegedly we got too much hating. No, we just had a scheduling issue. But we're back. I'm here with Daniel. I'm here with Tony. We have a lot to talk about today, gentlemen, because I don't know if you've been noticing, because I wasn't. We're in the middle of the NBA Finals, a very heated NBA Finals, if I may say. The Pacers just won Game 3 last night by 9, I believe, 116 to 107. What was your instant takeaways from that?
I'll go ahead and start. Before going into the series, I will go ahead and say that I think I'm the only one out of my inner circle, close friends, whatever you want to call it, who gave the Pacers a fighter's chance in this series. I really liked Indiana going in. No, I think it's true. Like, I think I'm dead ass the only one who picked the Pacers. I said Pacers in 7, and so far this series has been playing out exactly like I thought it would. Maybe not exactly like I thought it would, because I thought Indiana would split the first 2 games. I didn't think Halliburton was going to hit a game winner and they were going to have another devil magic voodoo comeback to steal one of the games.
Devil magic. They sacrificed a chicken in the locker room.
They split the first 2 games, and then as a basketball fan, you can kind of sense that OKC was going to blow them out in game 2, because that's a pretty embarrassing loss. Game 1 of the finals on your home court, even though Shai went for like 38, I think it was. But you knew that OKC was going to bounce back and win that game. And then first game at home, first finals game in the state of Indianapolis in 25 years. Like, the Pacers showed up and showed out. So I'm not too surprised with how this series has been playing out so far.
I'll say this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the Pacers are, one, proving everybody wrong that this is not a dumpster fire of a finals, that these teams are as evenly matched as they are. Now, obviously, the Pacers have proved that they're at least 1 game better, but it is a best of 7. It's first of 4. So I think that this game 3 just showcased Tyrese Halliburton knows how to turn up the Jets when it calls his name. He was criticized so much for his game 2, rightfully so, for his lack of aggressiveness. And I think that he showcased that he doesn't need to necessarily be so goddamn aggressive. And he's doing it all on no free throw attempts. 0 free throw attempts.
Shai could never.
For context, the last time that no potential finals MVP that got a finals MVP without free throw attempts was like in 1969. And so this, and I'm paraphrasing because it might even be earlier, this series, if Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers go on to win this NBA Finals, will definitely be regarded, it can't be regarded as Mickey or as an easy path to the finals, because they went through it all. They went through against all of the favorites in their series, and they came out on top. Now, series is still not over, but it's been really impressive, and I've been really enjoying the game that I've been seeing from this Pacers team. Did y'all notice that Tyrese Halliburton had how many points did he have? I think he had
last night.
He had 22, 9, and 11. Just putting that out there. Here's the thing. Tony, I'm gonna go as far as to say that if the Pacers win this series, I'll go out there. I'll say this is the best finals run I think we've ever seen. I know, like, people say the 2011 Mavericks is rightfully, arguably the hardest finals run people have ever seen. I'll say this one's more difficult. I'd say that, because I think when you think about the level of caliber of player, that when you compare Tyrese Halliburton, this is not me trying to invalidate Tyrese Halliburton. I've been doing a lot of that. Like, a lot of it. Almost too much. But I think when you compare Tyrese Halliburton to Dirk Nowitzki, like, he doesn't quite match up. So because of that, if they're able to win this finals, I think that's the most challenging and successful finals run that I think we've ever seen.
Would you be able to finally put him as, like, top 3 point guard in the East, or maybe even in the NBA?
Well, he's a top 3 point guard in the East right now. He's arguably number 2. Sure. He's arguably number 2. The only other one that I can think of that's better is Jalen Brunson. Top 3 in the league. There could be an argument, but
There's
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of solid guards out there.
There's a lot of
He's definitely, I think, revived the pure point guard.
I was gonna say, you know what? He's not a scorer. He can every once in a while, but he's you know what though, Tony? Actually, I think he is a top 3 point guard in the essence of what the position requires people to do. I think he's a top 3 point guard. I think you could argue he's a better point guard than Jalen Brunson. He's not a better scorer, obviously. So therefore, maybe people don't consider him to be the better player. But I think he's
what I can get.
He's arguably the best point guard. Like in the grand scheme of like pure point guard. Like I like to talk about that all the time. But yeah, I would say this would be the greatest finals run I've ever seen, at least. I think people would say it's one of the greatest, or not the greatest ever. That being said, I've done enough hyping up of the Pacers already. I still think Oklahoma City is going to win this series, and I'll tell you why. Because even in a game that saw the Pacers play Benedict Mathurin, 27 points off the bench, plus minus 16, 3 misses all game. He shot 9 of 12.
He was a demon.
Respectfully, that's not happening again. Like with all due respect, he played like the real Maple Jordan. I'll give him that credit. But like, you mean to tell me that the Thunder are going to shoot 47 and 45 splits and lose another game? Like, come on now. Don't play with me.
That's a good point.
Don't play with me. The Pacers shot 51% from the field. So,
yeah.
The Pacers use devil magic. This we know. However, eventually it's got to run out. We saw it with the Chiefs. Like, eventually it's got to run out. I don't think that scenario happened. Like, I don't think it happens again.
Maybe not. I'm obviously going to disagree because obviously I've been on the Pacers bandwagon for a while now. They're kind of like my adopted second team after they annihilated my Bucks in the first round. I will say, by the way, I do think that when you look at their finals run and who they've beaten, I think Giannis pretty much by himself put up a better fight against Indiana than Cleveland did in the second round. Obviously, Tatum got injured. Celtics are the reigning defending champs, and now they're possibly going to beat a team that won 68 games in the regular season. Like, these are good playoff opponents that they're beating, and really, like, the only big break that they caught was that they got to avoid Boston because Jason Tatum got injured. But who's to say that they couldn't make that series competitive against the Celtics too? I think the Pacers are just a really, really good team. And just very quickly before I let you go, Tony, I think the Pacers going up 2-1 was huge because the first 2 games, there were 2 days in between games 1 and 2 and games 2 and 3. But game 4 is tomorrow night at the time we're doing this podcast. So only 1 day in between games, no travel. So that's good for both teams. But I think you can kind of see Indiana doing what they've been doing to every single team, which is wearing them down. And I think OKC looks tired. And I think the Pacers are going to take advantage of that. And I think the winner of game 4 is going to win the series because if the Pacers go up 3-1, I don't see them squandering that. And then if OKC is able to tie it at 2-2, I just don't. It's going to be hard for me to believe. I won't say it's 100% impossible that the Pacers can steal another one in OKC. So I think the winner of game 4 wins the series, but I'm pretty confident that the Pacers are going to win on Friday. And not saying that they'll win the series in 5, but I think they'll win the series for sure if they win on Friday.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think if we were asking if the Pacers were down 2-1, potentially going down 3-1, I would argue that let's say that the Pacers win tomorrow and they go up 3-1 against the Thunder. In my opinion, I could honestly see the Pacers coming back from a 3-1 lead deficit than the Thunder. Because they've showcased that they do not give up in the fourth quarter. They do not give up in the third quarter. And it doesn't matter how many points that the other team is ahead by. It could be 15, 20, 25. It doesn't really matter. And like you said, Daniel, the Pacers have literally caused players on the Thunder's bench to say on national television, we're up by 15, but they're cool at 15. They're comfortable at 15. We need to put it on harder for them. Because it's
using devil magic.
Like the Pacers have somehow made the Thunder for the first time in the regular season and in the postseason look like not themselves. They look panicked out there. They look like they're looking around trying to figure out what to do next because they genuinely don't know what to do. And Mark Daigneault, as great as a coach as he's been, has sucked booty in these adjustments that they've been making in the second half. Because I'm sorry, it's inexcusable, and maybe that's just kudos to Rick Carlisle because he's been here before.
I mean, he's led arguably the hardest championship run.
Exactly.
He might have both of them on his resume.
He might have both of them. I would argue he does have both of them.
Yeah.
So then maybe that's it. Maybe we have to start questioning personnel, not as much for the Thunder and more so coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's gotten them this far. Like, I guess that is the argument, because it's, if the players have gotten them this far, why are they suddenly not playing like themselves? Yeah. I still think, and I could at times put myself in this crowd. I don't know why the Pacers see, look, I'm about to spew so much disagreement. Palmer had to switch cameras. He couldn't believe it. He's like, hold on, let me switch levels. I think at times I can't even believe that the Pacers are still doing this. Like, I thought it was a nice bit. It's like, oh, cool little run. Then it just keeps getting more real. Every day that goes by, Palmer's take about the Pacers from 2 months ago continues to age like wine.
Well, yeah.
And believe me, that wine's they're about to reap the benefits of that. But I don't know. I think the argument there for personnel is there. However, like, this Thunder team is so good, or has been so good all year. It gets to a point where you just need to do it. Like, and it's not that the Pacers have any more experience than the Thunder do. It's not that there's any difference. Like, their vet, James Johnson, has never been to the finals.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a James Johnson.
He's got a black belt, but he doesn't have a belt that says been to the NBA finals.
This is true. I don't have one of those. I didn't know those existed. Maybe people who only get them know about them.
Yeah.
But it's not an experience thing.
Yeah.
At least you're not led to believe that it's an experience thing. So maybe it's with the coaching. I still don't think so, because if this Oklahoma City team is as good as they were billed all year, how they played, like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, bro, you got through Denver. I know it was Jokic and friends, but this is not like in friends team.
Yeah.
But like, come on, dude.
So I'll say quickly, I think, Ethan, you're right. Benedict Mathurin might not have another game again where he goes for 27, but
no, I think he won't.
Fair enough. But I think the Pacers are a team where they're pretty unpredictable, but like kind of in a good way. You never really know who's going to step up and play really well, but I feel like somebody outside of Halliburton and Siakam always does. Like, next game, since they're at home, it could be like Nembhard, who decides to hit like 5 or 6
Your
threes.
favorite player?
Yeah, or Nesmith, one of my other favorite players, who decides to go like he did in game 1 against the Knicks.
I mean, you also saw TJ McConnell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is true. So okay,
I still think Siakam. I still think Pascal Siakam is due for a masterclass. Like, he hasn't been terrible this series, but he's still due for like a breakout game.
So here's the thing. It goes back. I don't mean to make this OKC centric, because it's not. But that was the best team in basketball all year. You shouldn't let that happen. I know the Pacers have kind of like again, voodoo this, all of that, but like, they've beaten the best in the Eastern Conference. And so obviously it works, but now you're playing the best team in basketball this year. And it wasn't particularly close.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't allow that to happen. Now, I'm not saying Oklahoma City should have won this series. Like, you shouldn't be up 3-0 or anything, but you shouldn't have lost the game the way that you did. You brought up the McConnell steals. That was a pure lack of discipline. That looked like a team.
He was getting 2K steals.
No, literally. It looked like a team that just didn't want it as much as the home team. Yeah. And that is inexcusable from what is supposedly the best team in basketball all year. Like, you should
with the MVP on it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be making those errors. In this stage, you shouldn't be making those errors.
I truthfully feel like the Pacers are probably the team that no matter the scouting report from all 31 teams of the NBA, I don't think that the scouting report for the Indiana Pacers is as clear cut and dry and as easy as it is, because
it's definitely not.
It's probably one of the hardest scouting reports that you can have in the league, considering how many times that we've seen other players that have literally done stuff like Andrew Nembhard did in game 1 where he hit
Yeah.
the meanest hezzy tween in the MVP's grill on national television. Like these guys are deep. They trust each other, and yeah, they like you said, man, they just fight harder right now. And the Thunder, they are the better team. We've been saying this, best team in basketball since January. But I mean, right now you have people like Kendrick Perkins saying on ESPN, if the Thunder don't win now, they ain't winning ever. I think that's kind of preposterous because this team is so young.
Well, Kendrick Perkins talks because it's free.
He does talk.
So do I, but like he gets paid for it, which is
critical.
Like, somebody please hire me. Damn.
One day. But he does bring up a good point.
I want to point out though, like again, back to it's like Indiana had 13 steals, 11 blocks.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City, 6 steals, 4 blocks. Like we can't be doing that. 17 turnovers to 13 turnovers too. Like it just shows the lack of discipline. And again, with a team that I thought I've been shown that this is the best team in basketball. Now, the best team in basketball doesn't always win the title. This we know. This is an argument that we've gone back and forth on before.
Yeah.
However, when you're allegedly the best team by this wide of a margin, you don't make those mistakes.
Yeah. Game 4 is going to be very, very interesting because I'm looking at the stream description, and I think we have Shai's legacy is on the line. I truly think his legacy might be on the line in Game 4. Now, look, he's still like 26, 27.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Still has a lot of basketball left. But look, you're in the NBA Finals. You just won MVP. Everybody's saying that they should have given it to Nikola Jokic, who had another outstanding season. You're the leading scorer in the league. You have the best team with the best record, and you've pretty much been, outside of the second round, been steamrolling your way through the playoffs. The Grizzlies series in the first round, does anybody even remember that happened? Like I think
just remember that they came back from like 20.
I think that was probably the closest thing I've seen to a first seed getting a bye in the first round, like just not having to play. And then in the second round, it went 7 games, and then the Timberwolves laid another egg in the conference finals 2 years in a row. And now you're playing a team who can dictate the pace of the game. They want to play fast, but they can play slow too. And that's also another thing. Both of the games that the Pacers have won are close games. And I think they're a better clutch team because they have more guys who can actually put the ball on the floor and create their own shot. And whereas if you're the Thunder, you're just relying on Shai to do that the entire game. And then every now and then J-Dub will give you a game where he goes for like 25. And then if Chet gives you a game where he wants to score like 20 points, that's cool too. But he's not really being asked. And neither is J-Dub really to create all that much because Shai has the ball in his hands so much. So I think the Thunder have to win this game. And I think Shai has to go off for like 40 points in order for them to win. And I think that's what it's going to take. And if they go down 3-1, their series is over. And Thunder fans know this better than anybody. Going to the finals is no guarantee. Like if you lose on this stage, there's absolutely no guarantee that you're going to get back there.
Yeah.
Like they've been waiting. This was their first finals appearance in what, like 13 years?
13 years.
So there's no guarantee that your team gets back if they lose.
Do you guys know who Lost and Unbound is?
Yes. Yeah. Famous. I don't even know how to say it. But
famous Thunder like mascot, basically.
Yeah. No, I know LNU.
Yeah.
Famous respecter of his editor for his YouTube videos, but I digress.
He came back literally from the woodwork.
Yeah.
Like, people were wondering if this dude came from the back rooms for this NBA Finals. And I feel like if that man loses a second NBA Finals in his lifetime, I truthfully don't think we're going to see him at all after that. So I think Thunder fans know more than anybody that a Finals doesn't come, it's not guaranteed in life. It's not.
Yeah. Of course not. I mean, look at the last core that Sam Presti put together.
Yeah.
At this
every team in the Western Conference is on the Wemby timeline because they're just waiting. They just hope they can win before Wemby really like locks in, enters his prime, and figures out how to dominate every single game.
You know what he looked like at that Temple? Like a top 3 MVP candidate.
He looked like the last Airbender.
Top 3 MVP candidate. That's what he looked like. Yeah. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and
just when they get Giannis over there next year,
in DPOY, he vanished. But but that's okay. He's coming back for it next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year.
He's cut not 2, not 3, not 4.
Yeah.
Not
He's
5,
definitely
6,
surpassing
7.
Gobert.
Also,
If Rudy Gobert by the end of his career has more DPOIs than Wemby, I've lost faith in humanity.
You'll
Mickey
eat
Mouse
dirt.
yo.
You'll eat
Dude,
dirt.
well, I mean, Wembanyama never shut down the whole league. So
Yeah, true.
I've never seen that. I love Wembanyama, but I don't think he's ever going to do that. Oh,
Do we want to talk about really quickly, Tony? You brought this up before we went live about how the NBA Finals has lost all of its aura, quote unquote.
oh my God, the ratings.
Do we want to talk about that?
The
Really? Too bad X not here. Not even from
Yeah.
a rating standpoint, but just like actually watching the game. Do you guys feel like the intensity of the finals, like this is the NBA Finals, or does it just feel like
No.
another regular season game?
Because it's been corporatized to all hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even get the Larry O'Brien trophy on there. And why is it not on there, Palmore?
Adam Silver's NBA.
Yep. Well, didn't he say it was player safety or something?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, yes, they said it's not on there because of player safety, which is hilarious because when you look at every single NBA Cup court that they have, there's a big giant trophy in the middle of the court. And you have all these super bright colors that sort of like make you want to gouge your eyes out because they're so bright.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I almost do. That's why I don't watch them.
where's the player safety for the NBA Cup? Like, I have no.
Well,
That's
because
New
they
Orleans,
throw the
neon green
giant
color.
Emirates logo on it.
Yeah. Ethan, what'd you say? You see more YouTube TV logos on the court
You
than
see,
NBA.
you see more YouTube TV logos. You don't see the Larry O'Brien trophy. I think the YouTuber Kofi did an analysis of the court, and I think you saw the Larry O'Brien trophy once, and it was on the matting for under the basket.
Yeah,
like you don't see it on the court.
Yeah,
it's like
the only, and they still have it on like the back of the jerseys, which is cool. But like nobody's looking at the back of the jerseys.
Doesn't mean anything.
Like,
yeah.
That was always complimentary to the fact that it was always just. It was on the court. It was a giant. Like it was the peak of it was the giant.
The giant trophy in the middle.
On the middle, like that they put into the center court logo.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
That's the only reason why I remember the Magic were in the finals in 2009.
2014, I think, was the last year they did it. The last Heat Spurs finals. I think that was the last year because I don't remember seeing it on there for Cavs Warriors in 2015.
Yeah, but at least I think at least in that finals, they still had the finals written on the court.
Yeah.
Now it's not even on the court. It's just a TV generated logo.
Yeah.
Like you got to throw YouTube TV on there too.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too?
It's horrible. It's so it's like the Super Bowl.
Without like the Lombardi trophy and the Roman numerals on the middle
Exactly.
of the field. Yeah.
It's think of like I'm thinking about think of the Super Bowl logos. They're super corporatized now. They used to be super creative, now they're not. The NBA Finals logo in their defense doesn't look horrible. Like the Super Bowl logo looks worse. But at least the Super Bowl, it's the Super Bowl. The vibe is different. Yeah, I know it's a neutral site, but if anything, that should make the NBA Finals even more advantageous to make it feel like the finals because it's on somebody's home court.
Yeah.
And you get both of them too.
So
it doesn't feel special.
If he wants to spend money on these Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals MVPs trophies and making Larry look different with his new look since 2022 and not make the actual
with the Louis Vuitton case.
Yeah.
And it's on the biggest stage look the best out of those two things. Like your Western and Eastern Conference Finals should not look better than the finals. It should not. Yeah. And it's funny too because in game 2, like they put two trophies, like two little miniaturized digital trophies.
Yeah, and they were horrible.
And then in game 3, they took them away. It looks like that they were listening to people, and then they heard the criticism, and they were hurt.
And they didn't make any adjustments. They just got rid of them without making any adjustments. It's like
they threw the YouTube TV logo back on there.
Yeah. And another thing I'll say is I'm not going to be that guy. Like Mike Breen's obviously a legend. I love watching him call games. Richard Jefferson has his funny moments. And then I'm not going to talk shit about Doris Burke. She knows so much basketball. She's done so much for the advancement of the game, but I'm not the only one who misses Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy calling these finals games. I'm sorry. Some of those calls that they have are just so legendary. And then even little things like going into commercial, there used to be like an NBA on ESPN finals theme that would play exactly like going into commercials, but now it's like some Big X the Plug or like Nokia, like whatever trendy raps, whatever trendy rap song is on the minds of everybody. Like it just doesn't. It feels like the finals feel like regular season games. Like I feel like I can't tell the difference between a regular season game and an NBA finals game.
You wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah,
like you could if you took out the digitized logos that they put on the programming, and you looked at the fact that these people were just wearing shirts, you would think it's opening night.
Yeah.
You would think it's opening night.
I would say that's a great point.
It's my opening.
The NBA and Adam Silver is pretty goddamn lucky that Indiana and Oklahoma fans love to wear the t-shirts. Because if not, it actually would.
If it was in Chase Center, forget about it,
dude.
Forget about it.
Chase Center third quarter starts, half the arena is not even in their seats because they're all.
You think it'd be like a game at in early January when a team's making its West Coast road trip.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Yeah. I mean, that's not always Adam Silver's fault, but I don't know. I mean, we're dragging this out, but yeah, it's like, it's unfortunate because ironically, the NBA finals have never been in a healthier position.
Yeah.
There's no dynasty.
Yeah.
You've had you're going to have 7 different champions in the last 7 years. Some of them living legends and some of them up and comers. So if anything, this is the perfect variety for the NBA finals to kind of change it up every year. And instead, it almost feels like it's getting more and more tedious, monotone. Like there's just nothing like if I'm not a fan of either of these teams. I'm watching it because I want to see what Shai does. I mean, like I'm not gonna hide it. I'm rooting for the Thunder. I want to see what he does. But like if I a casual viewer, I have no interest in this. I would have no interest in this. And maybe I'm in the minority there because apparently they think what they're doing is right. But whatever. Anyway, speaking of doing questionable things that they think is right, we got to talk about the Knicks because the Knicks, as we know, have fired Tom Thibodeau. Did you know that Tom Thibodeau had a plus 70% success rate on coaches' challenges this year?
I did not know.
I did not know that.
He had an above average success coaching challenge success rate of the coaches' challenges. Just a fact for the day. But so Tibbs is gone.
It sounds like they really trust their head coach. Like they wouldn't,
fire him when he's under contract.
Yeah.
After your star player openly says he wants him there. Yeah. Anyway,
led you to what? Back-to-back 50-win seasons, first conference finals appearance since
25
years? In 25 years.
Literally the last time the Knicks were like a contender. Yes.
Yeah. Insane.
Anyway, the Knicks want to be homewreckers, I guess, because they haven't. I don't know if y'all noticed it. They only go after coaches that are, under contract.
They just love the game.
They love the game. I mean, their logic. They're embodying the logic that me and Palmer love, which is just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score. Doesn't mean you can't score. Mind you, Michael Malone is sitting on his couch.
So is Taylor Jenkins. I know people aren't as big on Taylor Jenkins, but I still think Taylor Jenkins is a really good coach.
No, I think he could be a great coach.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he probably gets some flack for his inability to handle John Morant, but that Grizzlies team was dead in the water post grit and grind.
Yeah,
like nobody was paying attention to Memphis basketball, and now nobody is anymore. But yeah, what do you guys think of it? Like Ime Udoka was one, like famous relationship respecter Ime Udoka.
Class act Ime Udoka. Let's see, like Ime Udoka was one I saw. Like obviously not in the same tier, but Quinn Snyder, Hawks coach, they said no. Billy Donovan for the Bulls, they said no. Chris Finch was another one. Notice the only employed coach, not the only one, but one of the coaches they didn't want to talk to was Doc Rivers.
Are you serious?
No, they weren't interested in Doc. Shocker, I know. They don't want Doc on their team. But yeah, I mean, I think the Knicks are kind of just like spiraling right now. Like they're falling for the trap that I think a lot of NBA teams and like sports teams fall for in general, is that they want success, but they don't want to be patient enough to get it. Like the second you don't make the finals or win the finals, you think, now we have to fire a coach. It's like, no, you make baby steps each season. Last season, you got eliminated in the second round. Granted, it's because like your team was the corpse of the New York Knicks by game 7 because everybody
Jalen
was
Brunson's
injured.
hand fell off in game 7.
Yeah, but like you made a conference finals, and you don't know, and especially in today's NBA landscape, you don't know who's going to be good next year. Like, yeah, I'm sure if the Pacers go on to win the whole thing, they'll probably be the favorites to win. Actually, I don't even know. They might be the favorites to win next year just because they'll get that respect. They just won the whole thing.
And,
so
and the Celtics might look different next year.
Yeah, like who knows? Like you have no idea how the NBA is going to look next year. You have no idea who's going to be healthy come postseason time. All you need is like 1 or 2 small breaks to go and win a title. And the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And if you have a guy in Jalen Brunson who is like went to war for Tom Thibodeau, has publicly said, Ethan, like you said, that we want this guy as our leader. Josh Hart was thanking Tibbs after he got fired. Like, regardless of what you think of his coaching style, those guys in New York liked playing under him. So if it works, why I don't get why you would fire him. I don't get why you would mess him up.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of the Patriot way, that like I know that's a buzzword now, but like when Belichick was there, you know, famous lover of relationships with women his age, Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Like there was the whole thing. It's like it works super well for you, that coaching style works super well for you, or it doesn't and you leave. Like hell, even Randy Moss, it worked for Randy Moss.
Straight cash.
Like, Randy Moss is like infamous for like not working with a lot of different coaches or like for certain teams. So I think it's very similar to that. Now we make a lot of, don't get it wrong, we love making Tibbs psycho rotation jokes on this show. That's probably a top 5 joke that we have on here. It's up there with like random Tyus Jones mentions and the Neemias Queta bit. It's up there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, he did learn how to adjust. Like he used his bench when he needed to, especially against Boston. And that's when it helped. And it was sort of kind of working against Indiana until Indiana said, hold up.
I think Indiana was just a better team. I just don't think we knew it at the time because on paper, maybe they weren't, but clearly they've been based on how they've been playing.
He is a soft kitty. So
I think Bodega Cat, I think that again, improvements into the next year. It's like Palmore said, it's like, theoretically, this is what you want from a team. Like, wow, we took a step forward. Nobody got horribly injured in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And we took another step forward. We made it to the next round of the playoffs. And they didn't even get embarrassed. They lost in 6.
Cat was also playing on one leg too. Like I thought they were gonna get the shit kicked out of them in game 5. Like, excuse my language, but I thought they were gonna fold and lose game 5 because Cat was playing on one leg and Brunson just looked gassed because Nemhard, who else? Neesmith, they're just pressing him all over the place, like picking him up full court, and he has to earn every single one of his buckets. And they almost won games, like they almost forced a game 7. Like they weren't that far off. And now I don't even know if it's the last of what they're gonna do because I don't think Giannis is going anywhere. I think he's staying with the Bucks, but they're in KD trade talks. Like they clearly want to like make some more big swings because that's what they think they need to do. So I think
anything that happens to the Knicks, any regression, they deserve it. They clearly were on a trajectory. I think a lot of NBA fans, Knicks fans are not, but I think especially Knicks fans, if you polled them, they would say we're on an upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Because you went from first round exits to missing the playoffs to another first round exit to the second round to now the conference. Like you're moving upwards and you're putting it together the same team. If you could point the finger at anybody, point the finger at who made the trade for Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
That clearly hasn't panned out, made its worth.
Yeah.
But I digress. Because the Knicks are going to regress. I'm saying it right now. The Knicks are going to regress. You already had you disgruntled your main star. You got rid of his coach, his guy. I don't know.
I just think with the whole situation with the Celtics, with Tatum likely being out for a good chunk of or if not all of next season, they're trying to trade Drew Holiday. They're trying to trade Kristaps Porzingis. Like they're going to look like such a different team. So I honestly think the East is like it's so unfortunate for me because Dame's not going to be in Milwaukee. So I don't think the Bucks have a realistic chance to win anything. But like I think the East is going to be wide open next year. Like just like it was like low key this year, but even more so because the Pacers, are they going to be a team that maybe if they take that next step, maybe they'll win a bunch of games, like be feared amongst everybody in the conference. But I look at the East next year, and it's like I think it's anybody's conference for the taking because Detroit's going to be better. I think if Orlando stays healthy, they can kind of have like a Pacers type run next year. So there's a bunch of young and up and coming teams in the East. So I don't know. You just never. I think the East is wide open. I think it's completely wide open
with Cade and them.
Yeah.
I mean, what butterfly effect happened that we have a Pacers dynasty in Indiana? Oh my goodness.
The only basketball superstar in the state of Indiana is Caitlin Clark.
I was going to say the house that Caitlin Clark built.
Yeah,
this is true. This is true.
But
it sounds like we're making a lot of changes, though. The East is making a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Going through a phase, if you will. But like speaking of changes, this was announced last week. We weren't live last week, so we didn't get a chance to talk about this. We got to talk about this real quick. The All-Star game is making changes again. After I think what we can agree was this past year the worst All-Star game we've ever seen.
It's up there for me. Since the first All-Star game that I watched was 2017, like in full 2017 in New Orleans. And since then, I think that was the worst one I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think the best part about that weekend in general was seeing Mac McClung three-peat. But the most entertaining part about the All-Star game was the fact that the rookies almost won the All-Star game.
Non-All-Stars, by the way.
Non-All-Stars, and then they would have made like Dalton Connect the
final All-Star game MVP, which is crazy.
But regardless, they're changing it to a different format now, and it is Team USA versus the world. I think that it's gonna be fun, but it can start a lot of issues, and here's why. You have already a bunch of people saying, "Oh, okay, Team World's got so many great players that are, all-star level, whatever." Because you have the Giannis, you have the Luka, Jokic, Shai, etc. Can you name me after those first 4 or 5 players, an 8 to 10 man? Actually, no. I think the All-Star game is 12 people per team.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, how many All-Stars do we have now? Do we have more All-Stars? No.
Yeah.
No, we have the same amount but then you have the issue of if there's 15 All-Star caliber players that are American, then not all of them can get selected because you have a quota to hit or you have a max for the US for both teams.
Yeah.
I don't see we're solving some problems but creating more issues.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I get that East versus West got boring at some point, but I don't know that it doesn't seem like they're making the right decision to change things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we gonna have to name random foreign European players as all-stars?
Because no disrespect, and maybe I'm just unfamiliar with their game. Quite literally, I don't know if the 12th best international player in the NBA is better than the 15th best American-born player.
Yeah,
fair enough. I'm just trying to
even Bogdanovich. Let's say because he's
all right. Now we're getting crazy.
Because
I'm trying to think of what the starting 5 for the world team would be. So is Embiid going to be on Team USA?
Probably not.
I don't know.
It'd probably be
if Embiid's not playing for Team USA, it would be, or if he is playing for Team USA, it would be Shai and Luka in the backcourt, and then you have Giannis, Jokic, and then Şengün. I think would that be the starting 5?
Yeah, it'd probably be Şengün
for the world team. And then off the bench, you could have Siakam. I think Benedict Mathurin might be an all-star next year, to be honest with you.
No, Benedict Mathurin, he's not a bad player.
Yeah.
But unless he takes a step forward, he might. It's entirely possible because he's going into year 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
That could happen, but
it's just coming off the expectations.
I think Cat would also play for the world team too.
Theoretically speaking, yeah, that too. Theoretically speaking, it doesn't always happen like this, but usually the All-Stars are the 24 best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't know if Benedict Mathurin is going to be one of the 24 best players in the NBA next year.
I don't think he will. Yeah, I don't.
So that's my thing here with this format, which is bro.
Yeah.
You're picking up what I'm putting down, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, the unfortunate thing is, I'm still gonna watch it because I want to see how this happens.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan.
I
back
know,
the stats, please.
I
I
know-
reject modernity, embrace tradition when it comes to this type of stuff. If you haven't already noticed,
I know last year, when this podcast first started, Eck, who will make his return soon, he said that the NBA should get rid of the All-Star game, and he kind of got like destroyed for that idea. Do you think that
they called him a madman, and by
it
they
is-
I mean me.
Do you
I
think it's
called him
something? Do you think it's something they should actually consider, just flat out getting rid of it because it just
No.
doesn't work anymore?
I don't
No.
see why it wouldn't. Like, I feel like if anything, this is like the perfect worst take to
Take to this day.
I would agree. Like, it's not a good take. I don't think you get rid. Think of it like this: the NBA is clearly doing something work because the All-Star game, All-Star weekend, and all of its festivities should be like the perfect situation for the NBA in this world of social media and need for instant gratification and, clips for social media. Like, the All-Star game should be perfect for it. Highlights galore. It's the best players in the world from big market teams. Presumably, they're playing usually in a big market, unless you're playing in like Utah. But it should be perfect for the NBA.
Yeah.
They're clearly not doing something right. I wouldn't say get rid of it. I don't think getting rid of it's the right answer because then what do you do instead? Just give players 6 days off?
The closest
Corny. Like
of success that we've gotten for this All-Star game format was back with the Kobe format.
Yeah.
That was the most successful format post West versus East. And they did a West versus East not too long ago, and it was still pretty cheeks. Just go back to the Kobe format. That, I think, is the best.
Yeah, but even the thing with that is, and I actually agree with you, Tony, but even then the players got bored with that too because they had like the fourth quarter where you had to hit the target score.
Yeah.
And I think some of those All-Star games after that, even with that format, were still kind of like, like nobody really like.
That's true. It's not perfect.
Yeah, but it's the best one that they have. So
I don't think getting rid of it is the answer still. I
Yeah.
really don't think it's the answer.
Yeah.
And maybe this USA versus the world format will pan out a lot better than I think it's going to be. But if anything, it's going to create more of the conversation about every literally 35 minutes after they answer, they reveal the all-star players. There's always the conversation about who got snubbed. I think that conversation will only be amplified more.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe it'll work though. Maybe it'll draw attention. It's like, what do you mean Benedict Mathurin got in over LaMelo Ball? Like now I want to see it.
Or will that just make people tune out more? Because it's like, why do I want to
Possibly.
watch Benedict Mathurin in the All-Star game?
In the big 2026.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, I think it's just they're trying to capture that same vibe from the Olympics. And, you're the best thing that they're going to get out of it is probably, another 3 team up between KD, Steph, and LeBron. Because that's who's in your starting lineup guaranteed for Team USA. And then maybe you have Ant and like AD.
You know what this is good for? This is a perfect opportunity for the NBA to phase out LeBron, Steph, and KD as the faces of the league.
Yeah.
This is your perfect opportunity to do that. Now, are they going to do it? Probably not. Because, the NBA hates making international players the face of the league. Stephen A. Smith is comically xenophobic.
Oh, dude, I forgot about Wemby for the world team.
No, he'll be there. Yeah, no, he'll be
Another
so
one.
But Stephen A. Talking heads allegedly believe that there can't be an international player to face the league, even though this is the world's game.
Yeah.
Part of
So
me
this is a great opportunity to do that. But I'm so ready to get mad at the discourse. I will be hating from even that far advance. Book it. I'll be hating because I already know what it's going to be like. They can't have Victor Wembanyama as the face of the. That was my Stephen A. Smith impression. Sorry, but it's not going to work. Anyway, I'm fired up. I'm fired up.
It's fair enough. Hey, man.
That's
part of me
all I
does
got
want-
on it.
That's all I have to say about that. Speaking of stuff to say, I'm only allowed to do this every once in a while because it is the off season and this player hasn't played in a couple months. But I'm letting Tony get on his Kevin Durant soapbox because allegedly he's moving teams again. Tony, you want to fill me in on this?
The most wonderful time.
All right, just get to this. Get to this.
So we're here with the Kevin
Your player
Durant
gets traded
yet again. But basically, it's picking up right now. The Suns are without a shadow of a doubt sending him somewhere. And, there's been rumors. Are they going to get a center back? Are they going to get a young player back? Assets? Whatever they're doing, they're biting the bullet for Kevin Durant. And I just want to talk about where he's going, where I'd want him to go, and these options that are presented to us as, I guess, his destinations are kind of interesting because I feel like they each tell a different tale. If he goes to Houston, all right, that means Houston is kind of sending off the Jalen Green. We're giving that guy away.
Father of the year.
We're mixing up we're throwing away the timeline argument. Okay. With San Antonio, you're kind of doing the same thing, but you're trying, I guess, almost kickstart the Wemby era in a way, like almost ahead of schedule. And depending on how that would work, whether it's like a Keldon Johnson and like Devin Vassell and or maybe a Harrison Barnes thing.
I feel like you have to get rid of Stephon Castle in that situation.
They can't give up Stephon Castle, and that's the thing. That I think no matter what, they have to keep Stephon Castle.
Well, no, I think they should.
You mean they can't or they won't?
They won't.
I think if Phoenix asks for Stephon Castle, San Antonio is hanging.
No, that's what I'm saying though. That's I can't see a trade like that happening unless they give up Stephon Castle.
Well,
anyway, continue.
Well, it could happen. You don't know. If they wanted to get a young point guard, then they can go to the Minnesota side, which I think that they could get Rob Dillingham, along with probably a sign and trade with Julius Randle. I've also seen Rudy Gobert in those conversations. And as much as I love to hate on Rudy Gobert, as much as that next guy is Ethan, the Minnesota Timberwolves would actually miss that rim protecting defense, as wishy-washy as it can be in this postseason. KD with a defense is, I think, the most lethal combination that he can be on any team. But if you throw away a lot of that defense away, and then you're again in another position, which KD has been in before, where they're lacking a 5 that can, at least be serviceable in the postseason, that's an issue. Miami.
Please don't go to Miami. Please
don't go to. Yeah, this isn't 2014.
Okay, I have an opinion on this. I'll wait to finish these two teams first.
Now, while Miami,
I'm going to say something that's going to upset Palmore.
Now, Miami would kind of make sense because you don't know what's going to happen next year, and with Boston being out, and with the Pacers being, I guess, the next big dog, the Miami Heat do need that guy that kind of maybe take them on a one-hit wonder year, maybe on a Kawhi type of season. But as much as a KD fan as I am, and I know that he can, provide the kind of scoring level or whatever leadership that he can for this team, it's not the same thing. It's not. I don't think a 37-year-old KD can take this Miami Heat team that is so unbelievably down bad to the promised land. So, yeah, put down that phone, Miami. Don't even do it. And we were talking about the Knicks earlier. It's actually kind of funny. We call KD a coach killer now, but you know what? This is honestly a perfect situation. If they want to call him a culture killer as well, the culture of the Knicks is already probably dissipated, as we've seen. So I wouldn't even be surprised if New York ends up getting Kevin Durant for Karl Anthony Towns, because Devin Booker and Cavs always wanted to play together. So,
but why would you make that trade as the Knicks?
I think
you already just sold your soul for another small forward.
I think you're the Knicks. If you're the
5
Knicks,
first-round picks, by the way.
You're already throwing away your head coach. I feel like that's a signal as they're willing to do anything and they're desperate. And I think that's
above them. Okay, now I'm going to say something that's really going to upset Palmore. The Miami out of these 5 teams, Miami makes the most sense. If I'm any of these 4 other teams, I'm not making this trade. Expedite, speed up, start the Wemby era now. If anything, it hinders Wemby's growth, because now you got to bring Kevin Durant in, and now you got to have that awkward conversation of, well, who's the number 1 guy? Houston. Now that one kind of sort of, but I think they're building something they can't win with the roster they have right now. They're not going to win a title with the roster they have right now. This is true. When you let Steph and friends beat you in Game 7, that's true. However, I don't think Kevin Durant is the answer to all your problems. It's not even it's maybe the answer to one problem, but you got 4.
Yeah.
Minnesota. I wouldn't make this trade, even though I have my own quarrels with Rudy Gobert.
I will say
the one thing was your defense, as wishy-washy as it was, it becomes consistently bad if you trade away Rudy Gobert.
Minnesota does have the highest ceiling, though, if they can fleece in this trade.
With Father of the Year Anthony Edwards?
If with Father of the Year Anthony Edwards.
Would it not be the Spurs, though?
No, I think
because you'd have Fox, KD, and Wemby. I don't think that's a horrible fit, to be honest.
I don't think that's but think about how much they would have to give up. I don't think that there's a trade here that doesn't involve Stephon Castle.
Yeah.
So, and Jeremy Sohan. And then New York, you just, like I said, you sold your soul. 5 of them for another small forward. Now, Mikal Bridges is not on Kevin Durant's level, even in the big 2025. However, you just traded like all of your assets away, like a bunch of your assets away.
I don't need to see another
Miami, however,
KD trade.
I'm looking at this roster right now. There's nothing more dangerous than a man that has nothing to lose. And damn it, Pat Riley's lost a lot. So if I'm looking at this roster, I'm looking at a lineup that, like, you send away, like, there's been Jaime Jaquez trade jokes all offseason. Maybe trade that man. Throw him in with Nikola Jovic. And, like, I don't know, Davion Mitchell for good measure. Like, that makes the most sense. I don't think it's a good, like, not necessarily a good trade, but, like.
This is the problem I have with the Miami Heat, though. Like, and this is why I'm excited, because I think for the first time in 6 years, they're finally going to be irrelevant. Like, they deserve to be.
You know that's not happening.
Because their roster is straight garbage outside of Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. And you just said it. The Heat. This is my problem with the Miami Heat. Like, I'm going to go on this rant again. They're always involved with these trade rumors, but it's like they don't understand. For a guy like Kevin Durant and for guys like Donovan Mitchell and Damian Lillard, when there were those rumors surrounding those guys, you have to actually give teams assets that they would actually want. Like, why? Like what would the Suns want with Jaime Jaquez? Respectfully, with all due respect,
they probably want Kel Ware more than Jaime Jaquez, to be honest, because they want a center.
Yeah,
they want to get point. They want to get Nurkic, and if Pat Riley hears anything about Kel Ware and Jaime Jaquez and Jovic and Davion Mitchell, he's hanging up
whatever he wants, honestly. Because, like, bro, the Suns, like, I don't see a lot, like respectfully, I don't see somebody's losing out of all, like, somebody's losing in any of these trades.
I will say,
Phoenix, it could be whatever team Durant lands on. Ironically, the Miami trade is the one where both of them might lose. However, on paper, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
These trade rumors of Kevin Durant, though, have pissed me off because we've gotten to a point where we've started to underrate KD.
He's 37.
Really?
He's 37, and he has the damn near best longevity next to LeBron.
He's a cone.
Steph Curry.
He's not a cone. He carried what was little of the Phoenix Suns' defense.
What, 11th?
When he was
That's
out,
not carrying. That's
he played
and pushing it somewhere else.
He played 62 games with Bradley Beal.
62. He didn't even play. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant he played only 62 games.
He played 62 games.
Osama Bin Laden.
Osama Bin Laden, everybody. We've gotten to the point where we've underrated Kevin Durant.
Oh, my God.
That whoever gets this man in this offseason, the talks are going to get even louder about how underrated and how bad Kevin
You're
Durant
the only one who's saying that, Tony.
And he's not. No, because I've heard the whistle.
This is not a good bit.
Because I've heard everybody saying, "Oh, it's too much. It's too much for KD." The Suns are going to have to.
I think it's about right. I think it's about right.
But you know what? The Suns aren't gonna ask for the whole hog. They know what they're getting when they have a 37-year-old man to give up. So whatever trade that's going to happen, well, I guarantee you, it's going to be seen as a fleece, and the team that is getting Kevin Durant.
Fleece for who? Who's getting fleeced?
Phoenix. I'm saying it right now.
So then, how is he underrated? How is Kevin Durant underrated?
Because people are saying he's not worth a damn for this trade. Like, they're saying that.
I'm not saying that.
Except for Miami. Like,
I wouldn't know. I'm not saying Kevin Durant isn't worth these assets to trade. I'm just saying I think a lot of these teams are on an upward trajectory, except maybe Houston. And like Minnesota might have plateaued. I don't think Kevin Durant's the answer there in either of those spots. But the other, well, except the Heat. The Heat are like literally in the gutter. But like San Antonio, New York, I think those teams are on a trajectory where they don't need Kevin Durant. And I know that's hard for you to swallow because that's your guy. And like the league,
I think
the league might revolve around him to you, but not these two teams. I think these two teams are going to be doing just fine. I mean, in 3 years, Victor Wembanyama is going to have a championship on this team. So I don't think Kevin Durant's going to have his fingerprints on that one.
I think Houston is the one that makes I like that fit the most out of all these teams because they don't really have a guy who is they're the only one of those teams besides the Heat who Kevin Durant could go there and everybody's going to take a back seat to him.
Oh, what's that? What's that? Did I hear pro Heat? Pro Heat?
Besides the Heat where they would take a back seat to him. Like the Spurs, you don't know that's going to happen because that's Wemby's team. The Knicks, that's Jalen Brunson's team. The Timberwolves, that's Anthony Edwards' team.
But you know what? Kevin's not.
I like the Houston fit. I like Houston.
I don't mind Houston, but I like Minnesota because one, KD respects Ant respects KD, but KD knows that it's Ant's team, just like how KD knew it was Steph's team. And I think that he would fit as long as the trade makes sense where they don't give up a Jaden McDaniels, then I think that could work. San Antonio, I will give that to you. I don't want to see his growth stunted. Wouldn't be my favorite destination for him. But come on, man. You can't say that whatever team that gets Kevin Durant, unless it's the Miami Heat, whatever team that he's going on is going to be a top 5 favorite to win it all next year. Like
every team that he's been on since the Warriors has been a top 5 favorite.
I know, and that's
they finished like 5th because they haven't won a thing. Like I get what you're saying. I'm not knocking, dude. Kevin Durant's my guy, man. He helped my team win 2 chips, and he helped your team at the time win 2 chips. So like, I'm forever grateful to that man. However, I will sit here and say that like there's certain teams that just like the future's now, old man. Like a lot of these teams, like they're on it. They don't, as crazy as it's like, if you had said like when KD got shipped to Phoenix 2 years ago, we wouldn't be having the same conversation. I would have said any team that got Kevin Durant is inherently better. Now, some of these teams that you just gave me, I can't say for sure that that's the case.
I think that whatever team that KD's going to next will be way more of a fit than this Phoenix era for him ever was.
Good, because it's going to be Miami.
I prayed it won't be.
Not. You got to buy a Miami Heat jersey now. You got to buy a Miami Heat jersey. Is it wouldn't. Is he going to 7 or a new number? What do you think?
You know what? If he goes to San Antonio, I want to see that 7 in black and white again. That was a good era.
Oh, like the Nets. Okay.
Low-key kind of tough because I like it.
The Heat don't need to be relevant. Like we don't need them.
Well, no. You don't want the Heat to be relevant. This we know. It's like the Dallas Cowboys.
It's like you watch them play. Like I started this movement, and I feel like people are just now coming around to what I've been saying about them for the last 5 years. They're incredibly boring to watch. The Pittsburgh Steelers of the NBA, as some would say. They make every series pretty much unwatchable. They're all dogfights, and every time you watch, it's like
it's a rock fight. It's a rock fight. That's what they just throw rocks at each other.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not fun. Like, stay out of South Beach. Stay far away from Pat Riley and friends in South Beach, please.
And that team too. It's really heavily reliant on them emphasizing that year that they get him, because I don't think he re-signs in Miami. And
how many years does he have left on his contract?
Just 1.
Oh, so he'll be a free agent next summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do think that his next team would be his last team.
Is his contract up, or does he have a player option that he can opt out of?
No, it's just his contract. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. But this next chapter will be his last chapter.
My last chapter.
My last chapter.
My last chapter. And it will end with a 3rd championship.
Not with any of these teams. Not with the ones that would make the move for him. I promise. I'll tell you that much. He'll go to Houston and he'll lose to Steph, bro.
Nah.
Like, you go to Houston, you're losing to Steph. And it doesn't matter who suits up in that red and white. You know this. It's inevitable. And then Miami, you get to beat Giannis. But, like, that's it. Like, after that, you're done.
I would like to see round 2 against Giannis. That would be kind of nice. But
did he shrink shoe sizes or what?
Don't remind me.
I don't know. Just get ready to look at Jaime Jaquez in a Phoenix Suns uniform.
In a Phoenix Suns jersey next year.
In a Phoenix Suns jersey. Oh, it's going to be tough.
What's grosser?
Watch.
What's grosser? A Julius Randle in a Phoenix jersey or a well, I'm actually no, that's not as gross.
What if this is all a ploy to bring Chris Paul back to the Suns?
Bro.
That's real. That's real cinema right there. Because nothing screams Phoenix Suns basketball like an over the hill point guard.
Unless it's Tyus Jones.
There we go. Perfect. Oh, what
mentioned, made.
That was perfect. That was perfect. And I think it's perfectly fitting for us to end the show on that note. So that's all for this week's episode of the Professional Hate Watching Association. We are going to change times. We will not be running shows on Thursdays at 8:30 from moving forward. We will put out an update when the shows will now go live because there is a fourth member of the show, sometimes even a mythical fifth member, but like he's a shadow. I don't know where he's at. But there is a fourth member that you have not heard from yet on this platform. He's great, but he has a job. So his schedule's a little tight. So we're working with him to get this schedule right. So from now on, we're going to be switching to a new time. You will be hearing about it on the socials. So follow us on the socials to keep up to date on when that new date and time will be. But we will be announcing it as soon as possible. But for now, this is the end of episode 2 of the Professional Hate Watching Association. For Daniel, for Tony, I'm Ethan. Have a good night. Enjoy game 4 tomorrow because best believe we're going to be hating on it.
Pacers are going up 3-1. Let's go.
Peace.